Welcome everybody to Service Drive Revolution. I'm Chris Collins and this is Jeremy O'Neill at your service.
We're here to help.
We're here to help.
We are here to help you.
Entertain, help, give you some love, some encouragement, some ideas, some food for thought. You know what's coming up today on this show? Are you ready for this? We're going to talk about 4 ways parts can sell more labor.
Oh, wow.
Parts is in the business of selling labor, and we're going to give you 4 ways to help them sell labor that we could say 4 secret ways.
Yeah, 4 secret ways.
4 hidden. 4 hidden ways.
There we go.
Parts can sell more labor. We are going to talk about one question that Elon Musk asks in an interview that is a game changer. And we're going to answer your questions. Some good questions today from you, the audience. Remember, when you post a question on LinkedIn, YouTube, or info@chriscollinsinc.com. If we read your question on the podcast, we will send you a t-shirt, stickers,
some swag.
coffee mug
coming your way.
So it will be fun. So, in the news, Mr. Jeremy O'Neill.
I'm ready for this, man.
Goodyear tire.
Oh my gosh, yes. When I read this, my mind exploded. Purple smoke went flying out of my head.
The crazy futuristic tire envisions a radical new way to replace your rubber. Rather than swapping the physical tire for a new one, the tire manufacturer is pondering something else. What if you simply regenerate new tread? What if you made a tire that grew its own skin?
Sorry, I have to share a quick story. So I share a story in one of our classes that we teach, which is how the consumers hate auto repair. And when they purchase a new vehicle, when they're in the finance department, if they could, let's say that Ford came out, because we're trying to save Ford from like a couple episodes ago, so we're going to help Ford with this example. If Ford offered you this magical pod that you inserted in the fuel tank at delivery, you would never have to do auto repair. And
so the magical pod keeps the car or truck from ever breaking?
Yeah, and check this out. So the only thing is you've got these pads you got to park the car on at night. The tires will magically regenerate. You never have to buy tires again. The brakes will magically regenerate. The fluids will magically regenerate, but you've got to do it now because once you drive it off the lot, you can't do that. 100% of consumers would choose to buy this, then go through our process on the repair side of things, right? So this is very interesting that Goodyear's actually developing this. It's fascinating to me.
So the thing is that their concept is it's a compound that they insert into the center of the tire. Mm-hmm. So the rim and the tire are all kind of one.
Right.
They insert it and then it pushes the rubber out and it grows its own tread.
Yeah, so it regenerates.
And then the idea too in the article too was that it could do winter and summer, so the different inserts or the different gel or rubber gel
so you
put in.
You got a track day coming up, you're going to put your racing slicks in. Yeah, you got winter coming, you're going to do your snow tires without having to go into the shop.
It's going to affect alignment sales.
It is.
Because you just put more of the goo in, you don't align it, so cars are driving down the street all
It depends on the cost of the goo.
Oh, you think the goo might be expensive?
The goo could be expensive. So the alignment service can always be a cost benefit and actually save you money. That's very interesting. I wonder when one of the brake companies are going to come out with regenerative brakes. They already have that.
I think that's harder to do than rubber, don't you think?
Well, yeah, with the friction material, yes.
Yeah. I think
what
it's
they'll do
cool,
is they'll do something with magnets or gravitational pull of the earth, slowing the vehicle down.
What is your style of interviewing? Like, say you're interviewing an advisor. Like, what are there 2 or 3 questions that you ask in an interview that you think are magic?
Well, Chris, I'd love to give you a great answer. However, with my track record at my shop in 3 years, going through 18 advisors and 42 technicians, I'd love to learn something today. So go ahead, tell me what I should be asking.
Well, I mean, one of the questions I like to ask service advisors is like, tell me about a difficult customer experience or an unhappy customer and how you turn them around.
Okay. Just get out the checkbook and write them a check.
What?
I'm answering your question. being funny here.
Give the farm away?
Give the farm away. No, you don't want that person.
What you want is an advisor that answers that question. Well, what I did is I gave away $5,000 to policy or whatever.
Oh my gosh, that's way too much money.
Now, some people would ask that question a little bit different, and they would say, like, how have you used your sense of humor or your magic powers, that sort of thing. So,
but then you're assuming somebody has a sense of humor or magical powers.
Right, it's a trick.
It is.
It's a trick.
It is. Well, is the point here, though, to keep them talking and see?
The purpose of a job interview is to scare the living crap out of people.
Okay. Intimidation.
Yeah.
Oh, got it.
No, I'm joking.
Okay.
No, but the purpose is to understand what their system is or their style, right? One question I like to ask advisors too is like, when you're walking up to a customer that's at their car, so you're approaching a customer at their car, you're going to write them up, you're going to help them. What are you thinking?
Should we do role play for the audience now? Pretend that you're the service manager, I'm the service advisor.
That's too kinky. Let's not do that. But what would you want to hear from an advisor?
Well, one of the things that I would want to hear is what are they going to look for to connect with the customer? How can they help the customer? Right? The personal clues.
Now, what if they say, I'm thinking what I'm going to sell them?
Oh, wrong mindset.
Yeah.
How much are spiffs?
Sales are easy. The sales come if you connect.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah, for sure.
I want somebody who's in the spirit of connecting, helping, taking care of. The money takes care of himself.
Absolutely. Go to relationship, not transaction.
So Elon Musk has a question that he asks in every interview when he's talking to candidates, and it's one simple, important question. Tell me about some of the most difficult problems you worked on and how you solved them.
That's a great question.
It's kind of in line with our style, right?
Yes.
Like,
and you can frame
give me an example and how did you fix it?
That's really good. I also like for advisors, give me one of the hardest sales objections you've ever had to overcome and how did you overcome it?
Yeah. So what did we learn here?
We learned that your answers in hiring the right people lie in the question that you ask.
Maybe that's what we learned, but could it be possible?
Be intimidating?
Well, yeah, I shared that. Is it possible that we're more like Elon Musk than we think?
Yeah, absolutely. Is that a good or a bad thing, though?
It's a great thing. What are you kidding?
Great thing.
What
changing the world. Changing the
universe. What do we have
universe.
against Elon Musk?
It's kind of a polarizing topic.
Really?
I believe so, yes.
But I mean, just as an individual performing, like...
Oh, I mean, absolutely.
Let's go back to his PayPal days with Peter Thiel. Do you ever watch any of Peter Thiel's stuff?
No.
Do you know who Peter Thiel is?
How should I answer this?
Honestly?
No, I don't.
Honestly and quickly?
Honestly, no. There you go. Done.
You don't know who Peter Thiel is?
I don't. No.
So Peter Thiel and this guy, you might have heard of, Elon Musk, started PayPal.
Okay.
And then Peter was one, when they sold PayPal, he was one of the first investors in Facebook.
Nice.
I think he was the first person to give Facebook money. Which was interesting because I saw an interview when they asked him about that and they're like, hey, was it this, was it that? And he's like, no, we tried to start a social media company before and they were just growing really fast. And so, like, there wasn't a lot of thought in it. He's like, I don't know. Like, was it Mark? Did you have a great pitch? He was like, no, they just needed money for more servers because they were adding like 20 schools a month. And I thought, maybe there's something, let's give them $500,000 or whatever.
Oh, just throw it at the wall and see if it sticks.
But pretty interesting guy, and his interviews are great. He had a lot to do with Trump getting elected. He was a big...
I'll give him a high five.
He's also the guy that hated Gawker and gave Hulk Hogan the money to sue Gawker, which ended up putting Gawker out of business.
Wow.
He's that guy.
I have some homework to do.
So he funded... Do you know that story? He funded... Hulk Hogan.
You're asking me all these tough questions today, Chris.
Well, I don't know. I guess I'm watching different stuff on YouTube than you are.
Yes,
you're watching like how to replace an AC compressor, and I'm watching Peter Thiel.
Well, I know how to do that.
And then what are you watching?
How to increase my fourth labor line.
No, nobody but us is putting stuff out like that. You're probably watching like motocross.
No, I do watch Supercross.
You know what I'd love to do, and you and I should do this together.
Okay.
F1.
I'm down with that. Like,
I'm
we're going to
sold
build an F1
on
team and go
F1.
drive?
No, we're going to go watch a race.
Okay.
Have you watched the series on Netflix?
No.
So they had one last year.
Okay.
It's really well done. And then they just released the season 2, which is last season.
Okay, I'll check it out.
Of, the drivers, the drama, the whatever. But I'm addicted to it.
F1, I'm down with that.
I'm thinking about if there's a way I'm going to get the F1 package.
Okay.
So I'm going to watch all the races. Sometimes you got to get up at like 1 in the morning.
I like Formula Drift too. That's coming up here in a couple months.
Formula Drift?
Yeah, Streets of Long Beach. I'll take some footage. I'll throw it up
ghetto. Come on.
there. It's ghetto?
F1, they're spending like $1 billion.
I know, but that's not... See, the great thing about Formula Drift is somebody could go out and buy a $500 car, turn it into a drift car, and have fun. You're never going to touch an F1 car. Like, literally, if you try to touch it, they're going to chop your arm off. Like, they have lasers that, like, take your limbs off your body. And then they put you in a box and bury you in the ocean. So you're never going to touch an F1 car, but you can touch a Formula Drift car.
First of all, I don't believe that. I could test an F1 car. I think I could drive one.
Could you fit in one?
Well...
I don't know. What do you guys think? Could Chris fit in an F1 car?
So what are the... I've driven
our next drive-by challenger. Could Chris fit in an F1?
I've driven an Indy car.
Okay.
So
was it like nice and tight?
They're different than F1,
right?
But
yeah.
Nice and tight. Yeah, they took the seat out. I was sitting on the metal.
Seat, sitting on the frame. That's cool.
It was scary, but I went like 169 miles an hour or something.
What track were you on?
Vegas.
Awesome. Yeah, I
wouldn't
love
do it
motorsports.
again.
Why not?
But I think we could drive an F1 if we wanted to. Somebody would let us do that.
If somebody knows how to connect us to get into an F1 car and drive it, let us know. I'm on that.
Okay, Jeremy, you know what time it is?
No, but I have a question.
It's time for questions. Let's get Don Rito and get your viewer questions. Hey, Don, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Alcoholism is the best, and I'm back in it.
Alcoholism is the best. How about, have you ever been to an AA meeting?
What the hell is AA?
Alcoholics Anonymous. It could help you.
WTF.
Alcoholism
Do
is
I
the
seem
best.
like the kind of person who can go away with anonymity to you?
Did you tell him we got his bonus check in?
I got a bonus check?
Yeah, it's $1. Here you go.
Hey,
well,
just
I'll give it
just
to you
so
after.
you know, that's 20.
Your
That's
hands
20
are a little...
times what Chris tips at Starbucks.
Wow! I feel so special.
Okay, you got some good questions?
Oh, yeah, we got 2 really good ones this week. Let me get to them. This one comes from Brandon on YouTube. I just recently discovered your content. Really appreciate someone experienced putting out this knowledge.
Welcome to the party, Brandon.
Do you have any recommendations for a shop limited by technician load? This is an opportunity out the wazoo, but with only 4 techs and 6 bays, I'm not sure how to seize it.
Yeah, so the industry is losing 2 techs for every new one coming in.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it's not going to get better.
No, it's not.
What I would suggest is go to chriscollinsinc.com and sign up for our on-demand. And in there's a module that's called Technician Tree. And it's how to grow your own technicians, how to hire the top technicians, and how to maintain the ones you have. It's kind of 3 different parts. And so there's some tools in there how you can hire. But the thing that you want to get good at, Brandon, is hiring techs. Because the future is whoever has the techs wins. The other thing that I see oftentimes is when you struggle hiring techs, your culture in the shop is terrible because you need the techs more than they need you. So you have a bunch of terrible techs with terrible attitudes that don't want to work, driving the culture in your shop.
Damn, you just described my shop.
So Technician Tree, bro, get in there, buy it. Every technician usually is worth between 10 and 15,000 in gross profit a month. So if you can't afford the on-demand, you probably might want to get into another industry.
Absolutely. Can we talk about the supply and demand factor on this as well? So when you are
What does that
You heard
mean?
it first here
What
on
does that
SDR?
mean, supply and demand?
Supply and demand, right? So as demand increases and supply decreases, what happens to pricing? I don't think we're aggressive enough on our pricing right now as an industry.
So what you mean by pricing is what we pay the techs?
No, I'm talking retail pricing.
Oh, to afford to pay the techs.
Yes.
So your effective labor rate
Yes.
should be higher.
Yes.
So then, I'm going to translate for you guys what Jeremy's saying. What he's saying is you should get your effective labor rate up, so you should teach your advisors how to sell. You need to learn pricing strategies, how to create a menu, all that, because as things go forward, the cost of a technician is going to go up.
Yeah, and I want to get ahead of that curve right now.
Yeah.
I want to be able to afford paying a technician $40 to $50 to $60 an hour. To get in that range, I've got to have my effective labor rate at 150, 175, 200, 225. If I have the demand and I'm backlogged, like for instance, in my shop, I just did this yesterday, cleaned all the old ROs over. My work in progress is cleaned. We have 68.
You just push some cars out in the street?
Yes, and we let the city of Hesperia come pick them up. 68 active cars that are actually working in our shop right now with 2 technicians. That's a month's worth of work in a
You
week.
need more techs, bro.
We do, absolutely. But if I can't find the techs, then I increase my pricing till the car count drops and find that happy medium. So instead of maybe having 68 cars, I go to 28. But if I increase my pricing by 60, 70%, what's going to happen to my net?
It's going to go up.
And could I then afford to pay a tech $50 an hour? Yes, I could. And then I could attract the top talent to my shop and then balance it out. So that's kind of the balance that I'm talking about.
That's how Jeremy's mind works.
It is.
All that. I hope you guys followed that, because he went around the cul-de-sac and then through the
that was
backyard.
crystal clear in my mind. I don't know
jumped
how
the fence.
confusing that was.
No, it's a very good point.
That's the supply and demand economics of a
Do you
repair
understand
shop.
that, Don?
No.
Well, can I get you a drink?
We'll circle back to that.
It sounds
later.
like Don's already had it.
Sounds like I need to start looking for a new podcast
gotta-
to work on.
What? Do you got another one?
Yeah, we got another question. This one also comes from YouTube from Pete. Thanks, Pete. Do you guys like the idea of waiving diagnostic fees in order to capture the repair? Curious about your response. If we lose the job to another shop, he only gets the diagnostic. If I sell the job, I can potentially get them a better chance at more hours. Plus, sometimes you don't lose anything and get both time and diagnostic. Just curious how most others perceive it, plus wanted Chris's feedback.
Pete is short for Peter, can you imagine?
I would probably.
Peter. Yes.
Wait, you say yes to that?
Yeah, I've done it before.
I say no to that.
What do you mean?
Totally on the other side of the fence on that. That's just weak sales skills is all that is. So go to our on-demand platform. You've got total training. Get a coach to help you deal with this. Now, here's my point on this. If your shop is skilled enough to diagnose the problem and the customer's going to go to another shop to have them repair it, I've got a very big issue with that. Why didn't you go to the other shop in the first place? Okay, you're at the right shop. Our testing fees pay for themselves when you consider how much time and money is wasted by doing any repairs that we don't know the root of the problem. So I'm not a fan of waiving diagnostic charges, and it's a shell game, right? It's tough. It's an invoicing thing. Well, we zero out the diag line, and then we put the hour labor or 2 hours labor down in the repair line. So then we artificially inflate our repair price, and then the customer takes that and goes and shops it and finds a cheaper price. But it's not about that. Especially now, we just talked about the shortage of technicians, right? So I'm a fan of setting up your diagnostic testing fees properly the first time, charge a fair price for them, and don't waive them if the testing's been completed. You've earned it. Leave it on the ticket and charge properly for the repair as well.
So you're telling me that if a customer brings their car in for diagnosis, and let's say you're half an hour into the diagnosis, and the repair's $1,000, you would let them leave for the $1,000 and not do the repair?
That's not what I said.
Oh, what did you say?
I would tell you that the total to fix your car today is $1,150. Would you like me to proceed?
But in a situation where the customer perceives that their other shop that can't diagnose it,
Correct.
but can fix it for less,
Correct.
you would let them take it there if it came to that?
No, they wouldn't leave. You're missing the point. That's just a sales objection he's got to get over. He's not skilled at dealing with the sales objection. You know, it's like we've got dumb things that advisors say or do when a customer says, no, that's coming up. But it's simply a sales objection. We should close that sale. You have the car, you've got the diagnostic test completed, you've got the right technician. If you didn't take it to them to diagnose it, how are they going to properly verify the repair? It's simply a point of closing the sale at that point. You've got to close it. You can't let that go.
So I don't disagree with what you're saying.
It's like all these millennials that don't, they hop in and out of relationships
why
and
are you
Tinder
picking
and all
on
that
millennials?
stuff. Just because I see it
Tinder.
happen.
What about Tinder?
Well, I don't know anything about Tinder. I'm just saying that
Sounds like you know a lot about Tinder.
I don't know anything about Tinder, actually. What is it?
No, what I was gonna say before you brought up Tinder was that a couple times I've had those. So Ford had a bunch of my clients open these like express service departments like 5 miles away from their dealership, and they would lose money, and one of the marketing campaigns I would do over and over again that would work was check engine lights free and that sort of thing.
Correct.
So I don't know, like I agree with what you're saying, but in every situation, I could raise my labor rate up, my effective, and be okay writing off a little diagnosis sometimes to keep a job. Is what I'm saying. What you're saying is right. I'm just taking the counterpoint that in some situations I've done that and it's worked.
So then there's not a black and white answer to this question.
No, but your answer is more right than mine.
No, it's not about being right. It's about helping our viewers and help him close more of those jobs. He might be in a very competitive market.
No, it's about being right. You're more right. You
Thank
got
you.
another one, Don, or is that it for this week?
That's it for this week, Chris.
Thanks, Don.
Thank you. And thanks for the bonus.
Yeah, don't spend it all in one place.
4 hidden ways parts can sell more labor.
Buy an F1 car.
No.
No. Okay.
First one, number one.
Hold on a second. So when this topic came up, my brain was like, this is very interesting because the parts department is, when I at least go into a dealership and I purchase a part or talk to the parts department, it's like this just hidden thing that people don't even really recognize, right? And what you're telling me is we're going to show them now.
Are you saying that the parts department doesn't get any respect?
That is exactly what I'm saying. But remember,
I think a lot of people in parts would probably agree with you.
Most problems in a service department are the parts department's fault, though.
Well, it's easy to blame parts.
Of course.
Because they don't talk a lot.
It is. But now we're going to show them how to harvest labor dollars out of the parts department. Okay, here we go. What's number one?
These are some nuggets.
All right, number one.
Number one is sell some accessories or modification.
Sell some accessories or modification. Why does a lot of that go to the aftermarket?
Because we don't try.
We don't try, we don't ask.
Like I do this all the time. I'll sit in a drive and we'll just stand there and we'll look at the next 20 cars coming in. What percentage of the vehicles coming into the drive do you think have some sort of upgraded wheels, lift kit?
Easy 50%.
Yeah. So if you just sit there and count, so I'll take the parts manager and the service manager and I'll be like, let's just stand here for a second and talk about the Seattle Seahawks and watch cars come in and like they're lifting them, they're doing things. Yes. So why don't we lift them? Why don't we pre-lift them, put them in the showroom lifted? Why don't we, because the key to selling more accessories is gamify it. Why isn't the parts manager at the sales meeting every Friday gamifying and handing out spiff money for accessories sold?
Absolutely.
Get out of your desk.
Get out there.
Get out of your office, away from your desk. Take the seatbelt off.
It's all about PTD.
Get yourself a wad of cash and start spiffing salespeople to sell accessories. Even spiff the sales managers
how do they
if you
do
have
it?
to.
Here's how they do it. So I just bought a Volkswagen Passat TDI. And nobody at the dealership asked me what I do in my personal life. So what's one of the hobbies I love to do during the summer? Mountain bike. I like to do downhill mountain biking with my kids.
Thanks for letting me guess.
Sorry,
it's like a rhetorical question.
You were too slow. Like the clock's ticking. We got to go. It was a rhetorical question. I answered it for you. Sorry, I brought my B game today.
Maybe some of us wanted to guess.
Okay. So
you go to a lot of nudist colonies in the summer?
No.
Isn't there a nudist colony out by you?
There's probably a lot of stuff
that when you take that turn on the 15, that thing down there is a nudist colony, right?
I wouldn't know.
You know. Come on,
know.
You know. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. I've never been there, though.
But it is a nudist colony.
I believe it is.
And you go there in the summer.
No, we don't go there in the summer. We go to Big Bear and do downhill mountain biking. Now, the reason I bought my Passat was for the fuel mileage, and I'm sitting here thinking, awesome, I can save so much money instead of driving my big Suburban. up the mountain, I can drive the Passat. And I'm like, oh, wow.
Because your commute from home to work is a little long.
It's, 30 miles each way. But I'm sitting here thinking, how am I going to get the bikes up to the mountain in the Passat? And how could the parts department help me?
They don't care.
They should care.
They don't care.
I'm going to spend probably $1,000 outfitting the Passat.
How much does it pay to put that thing on? An hour of labor?
What the
The
hitch
bike
or
rack.
Whatever it takes, do it for me.
No, but don't they usually pay like half an hour, an hour?
Yeah, it depends if you're doing.
Brings me back to my point. 4 hidden ways parts can sell more labor.
Okay.
Sell bike racks.
There we go.
But what you're saying is nobody cared to get to know you. What's this dealership? The name of the dealership?
Car Pros Volkswagen in San Bernardino.
Could care less about their customers.
Okay, there you go. Absolutely.
Could care less.
Could care less.
What do you think that parts manager's doing right now?
Probably looking for a new job.
No, he's sitting in his office, checking email.
Doing some report,
Like
looking at
most
inventory.
parts managers.
Okay, so
He's definitely not out trying to figure out how to sell more accessories so he can sell more labor.
man, the numbers are just adding up. There's so many opportunities for parts to convert to
Oh
labor.
my,
dollars.
it's endless.
It is.
Lift kits.
Lift kits.
Hey, when I
accessories.
bought that, service manager challenge,
Your Jeep.
what are we giving away?
The Jeep.
A Jeep. A Jeep what?
Rubicon, right?
Gladiator.
The Gladiator.
It's
Okay.
not a Rubicon.
Forgive
I
me.
wish I would have done the Rubicon, honestly. Because
sorry to hit a sore
I
spot
didn't
there.
do the Rubicon, and so
Right.
then what did I have to do to it?
Okay, you had to re-gear it, lift it, do all sorts of stuff.
Nobody cared when I bought it.
No.
Nobody said, "Hey, what are you going to do to this dude? What are your plans?"
So that's
what do you
5
want
or
it to look
6
like?
hours of
you
labor
look like a
sitting
guy
there.
that likes to stick out from the crowd.
Right.
You
don't
look
like
like
to be
a
the
guy
guy
with a
with
small
the stock
man's
vehicle going
complex that
down.
wants to lift the thing up.
Right.
Right?
Yeah,
So
nobody
what did I
even
do?
asked you a question?
I lifted it,
Where'd
but
you
it
lift it
wasn't.
You didn't go back to the dealer, did you?
No.
So you went to an aftermarket shop.
Yeah.
And
That specializes in lifting, and there was a line
out the door.
out the door.
Well, yeah,
It
absolutely.
took me a week to get in.
That long?
Yeah.
Wow.
So they're taking it somewhere.
So how many hours of labor did they leave on the table?
So what they did to mine was 3.5 hours.
Okay.
So how could parts sell more labor? Sell lift kits?
Sell lift kits, sell accessories.
Get into the business of selling parts.
So these advisors can also do that as well. They can build relationships too. So what's number 2?
Number 2 is body shops. So if you have body shops that are buying a lot of parts from you, you go to them and make a deal that if they bring their alignments and their programming and the heavier mechanical stuff to us, we work out some sort of deal.
Absolutely.
But there's a body shops have the ability to charge at our rate to do the
mechanical rate,
mechanical
yes.
and create a relationship
Yep.
between the service department and these body shops.
Now, if the dealership doesn't have a body shop, that should be a two-way street too. I used to control the collision repair that would come in. It was from the dealership, and then I sublet it to the body shop, and then that helped me get my mechanical rate for the insurance company. So
Yeah.
there's definitely ways you can do that too.
Yeah.
Body shop's great.
Do you think that parts managers are thinking like that?
No, I think they're running reports in their office right now.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's another way to sell more labor.
that's another way to sell more labor. What's number 3?
Wait, one more question.
Uh-oh.
Is there a lot of profit in wholesale parts?
No, in fact, a lot of dealerships are shutting down their wholesale parts department right now.
Would there be if there was some sort of reciprocal relationship?
So you're talking like 300 to 400 hours a month going through the parts department?
It can be that.
Could be that. Yes.
I've made it that before. The thing is like a lot of parts guys got to sell the wholesale to hit their bonus.
Right.
Why not win-win?
Win-win, absolutely. Labor is there.
Got to
It's
get out
all
of your
there,
office.
You just got to pick it up.
Got to get out there. Bring them coffee mugs. Give them some Service Drive
Give 'em
Revolution
some
swag.
There we go.
Right?
Yes.
Number 3, this one was yours and it's genius. Do you remember what it was?
Don't just sell the part, sell the diagnostic.
Genius.
Absolutely. So when we look at the number one thing that we get phone calls on is how much is it to replace X? And it doesn't matter what X is. When a customer wants a component replaced, there's a triggering event that happened with that request. And it's no different in the parts department. When I walk up to the parts counter and say, hey, Chris, can I get an O2 sensor? What do the parts people do?
Get them an O2 sensor.
Okay. Do they ask any questions about the car? What's
Why do
going
you
on?
think you need an O2 sensor?
That's a
What
great-
makes you think you need an O2 sensor?
Those are two great
Who
questions.
told you you need an O2 sensor?
That's the third great
Who
question.
told you you need an O2 sensor?
Why do you want to change it,
Sir,
right?
please, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Who told you you need an O2 sensor?
Well, the retail parts store down the street.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly, right? Or somebody's drunk uncle, I like to say. So
Or they watched a YouTube video.
they watched a YouTube
You know
video.
what's good is watch YouTube videos for advice on your health. Like, don't go to the doctor.
Oh,
Watch YouTube.
that is so funny.
Right?
Absolutely.
Would you get advice from a doctor on YouTube, or would you go to a doctor?
I'd go to a doctor. Absolutely. So yeah, so don't just sell the part, sell the diag. Have a two-way conduit where the advisor can actually come to the counter and answer questions for the customer, but turn that retail parts customer into a service customer and sell them the diagnostic too. There's so much work that is there.
The great thing about Jeremy and I doing this show together is a lot of times I learn just as much as I'm sharing. And the fourth one was something I've never thought about before. And it's so right on. It's one of those things that it's like, clearly that's how you should do it, but nobody's doing it. Number 4.
Is create a CRM with the customers that come in.
Yeah.
Customer relationship manager in the parts department. The retail parts customers neglected, right? And a
Yeah,
lot
they
of,
never follow up.
No, they don't. But there's a sales opportunity. There's also the service opportunity as well. And when that customer leaves, what do we want to ask them? Your next appointment. Don't worry, I'll answer that for you.
Rhetorical.
Right, rhetorical question. What about setting their next service appointment? Can we introduce you to our service department? We have a
How
great
can we
service.
earn your business?
How can we help you?
Yeah.
Right? We've got a ton of resources
Hey,
here.
we're in the business of doing this.
Yes.
We do this stuff. We got all these parts, and we got these techs standing around, and they're dying to help you.
The other thing, another triggering question that is going to be asked is, do you think this is going to fix my problem? So your parts personnel have to be skilled in identifying that and then moving it over to labor. There's so much labor to be sold. It is untapped. And then
We don't even try.
We don't, no. Get the customer's email, get their cell phone, text them, email. Get the permission to follow up. It's free marketing. Seth Godin coined that, permission-based marketing. It's absolutely free. We're missing a huge golden opportunity in our parts department by not creating a CRM.
4 hidden ways parts can sell more labor. Number 1, accessories. Number 2, body shops. Make deals with your wholesale clients that you're not making any money on to begin with, and get the labor in the parts department. You can work up some sort of trade, some sort of share. I've done that before. Get out of your office, go touch your body shop clients. Number 3, don't sell the part, sell the diagnosis or the next appointment. Number 4, start putting people in a CRM and touching them, marketing to them, treating them like they're of value.
Absolutely. That's a home run right there.
Great stuff.
Absolutely.
That's all we have for the show today. Thanks everybody for tuning in. For myself and Jeremy, we say have a great week, and we'll see you next time on Service Drive Revolution. Thanks for watching this episode of Service Drive Revolution. If you have any questions, go ahead and post them in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe and hit the bell icon so you're notified when we post new episodes. I'm Chris Collins, and you can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Chris Bulldog Collins. And I'll see you again on the next episode.